Hey guys, happy Saturday. In today's video, we'd like to cover the latest updates around the price action with Bitcoin. We'll be doing technical analysis of Bitcoin and strategy MSTR stock. Most of you are wondering what is happening with strategy stocks. Why is it going down? One thing to keep in mind is we just see a slight recent pullback. I think this is just a sudden hiccup. But when you scale out, you look through the long-term course, strategy has just shot up by about 100% since that all-time low, since the run up to like 550 down to $220 where we currently are. I mean, not too long ago we broke through $400, so it went up from like 200 to 400 range and now hovering in the above the 300 range. I'll share with you what my predictions are. If you're new to this channel, first off, I would really appreciate hitting the like, subscribing for more related content. Let's get started, guys. Okay, we're looking at technical analysis of Bitcoin. We're looking at it on the hourly chart. What we saw with this red big candle, on Friday, we had a sudden drop. That was all attributed to the macro news with tariffs on the EU. Trump used that playbook. He announced some updates to really get some driving pressure with Apple to have more manufacturing in the United States. This reacted where we saw Wall Street going down, Bitcoin crypto market also reacted to that news. But one thing to keep in mind, even we saw Saylor posting that there's no tariffs on Bitcoin. All of that is just FUD news when you look at it through the lens of holding on to a digital commodity like Bitcoin. However, one of the things we're seeing is with that news, we see it going below the Ichimoku cloud. Now, anytime when we get below the Ichimoku cloud, that is where we can see more and more pullbacks, which is what we see with that gravitational pull down. In fact, we saw Bitcoin getting down to like that 107,000, but where we are right now, it's creeping up, currently at 108,930. So getting very close to that 110K, we may very well start creeping up. Key thing is breaking through this Ichimoku cloud. I mean, on the hourly charts, we see it right below, but we're beginning to transition. We're getting in between that cloud. It'll just be a slight push up where we will be hovering within the Ichimoku cloud, and at one point on the hourly chart, we will break through that. Now, when we scale this out on the daily chart, for example, you'll see that we're already above that Ichimoku cloud on the daily candle, but through the lens of more near-term perspective, the key thing is we break through this and we're going to see Bitcoin just continue running up. I'm forecasting that we will somewhere land around the 120, 140,000 range in Q2 and Q3, Q4, I'm forecasting somewhere around that, 200 to $250,000. Let's take a look at strategy, technical analysis. So we're looking at it through the lens of weekly candles. One of the key things I've been talking a lot about is support one, line two, line three. So, line one, we broke through that price action during April 21st, where we saw the 50 SMA being crossed, 200-day SMA being crossed by the price action. A lot of the heavy selling took place around, March time frame where RSI was like below 20. That's where we saw reversal patterns where price action went up from like 220 all the way up to like $430. What we're seeing here is just a slight pullback, and that is expected after going up by like 1x. But the key thing is, even if we get down to this support level, 340, I don't think we're going to get even lower than that. Price action of Bitcoin is going up, reaching, new price discoveries. I think this is just healthy consolidation. As we look at the Ichimoku cloud, we're above that cloud. Key thing is this will be our new support line. I mean, before our support line was at like, the basement low of 240. So we're taking that stair stepper up, even if, we don't establish support at this retest resistance. The fact that we're going to have, full on support with the level one where we flip the switch from, resistance to support line, this is only going to allow for it to prime and break through. I'm only seeing a cup and handle forming, so I wouldn't worry so much. Strategy has performed very well so far since that low top performance, but it's only a matter of time when strategy is just going to shoot up. A lot of people right now are monitoring other Bitcoin treasury companies like Meta Planet, you know, uh, 21 Capital, CEP. All of those stocks right now are in that price discovery phase. Yes, we saw Meta Planet shoot up by 100%. And then what happened 2 days later? We saw just heavy pullbacks of like 50%, 30%. So lots of volatility going on. However, we know the fundamentals of strategy is the safe haven over time. Financial institutions, government, states are hodling a lot of strategy. Why? Because it's the ultimate hedge towards, volatility with Bitcoin. So even though we see Bitcoin going up with strategy going down, that's there's some degree of correlation, but overall, I do think that there's huge upside with strategy. We're very well on the position to get into that 4-digit range in this year. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed another episode where we covered technical analysis of Bitcoin strategy, stay humble, stack sats, stack strats, strap up, because why? We're going to be headed to new levels. Take care, guys.